And on the back panel, it talks about a Guinness World Record attempt that I helped with. So, but we didn't break it as it turns out. So we broke it later. But in any event, we get some good Guinness connections today. So if you already have one, feel free to take another one to use it for marketing and PR. So with that, I won't go into the long laundry list of my career. Suffice it to say that 25 years ago, this past week, I was paid for the first time by two entities. One was my hometown newspaper, and one was McDonald's. So I took the path of journalism to the restaurants, and here I am. At the top of this sheet, you'll see it says, what difference does it make? What sets you apart from others in your field? Skill set, background, longevity, awards. If you'd all just take a look at that and write down, I know there's 3 spots here, but write down at least one thing. Take a few moments to think about what is it that sets you apart in your field. And we all went through our 45 seconds just now, and in one way or another, we talked about what makes us different, what makes us special, helping to close sales on homes, help people get homes sold, like Roz Byrne talked about. You know, it's the car wash fundraiser that was held that June and her colleagues did across the continent. Computer consulting for Key. Brent with his Hometown Handyman. I know that you've got the program to help Hometown Helpers, I believe it's called, and Brent's unique background. And so many of you in here come from a background that's different than what you're doing now. I know Dr. Lou's been stuck in dentistry for 48 years, which I just wrote about. So he's kind of a black sheep of the family. But many of you came from some other field. So talk about that. You know, a lot of times people try to kind of run away from that and not mention that, when really there's a great asset in that, because it differentiates you. It's interesting. I know Rod has a background in radio, and she worked with some really interesting characters. She is an interesting character, and so that's what got some journalism interest last year. So you know, it's not always the main thing that you're doing now that will get the attention. All right. So what sets you apart? Another category to think about is what is on the horizon over the next 1, 2, or 3 months. What's coming up in your field, in your business, in your life that would be of interest? Maybe it's an anniversary coming up. I know sometimes I talk to people and they just had a 10 or 20th anniversary of some event or some longevity in something. It doesn't mean that you can't do something at that point, but it's always helpful to know when it's coming up so that you can use it as a hook. I remember there's a restaurant in the park that the owner, it's Al Mancini on Lake Street, and a number of years ago he was approaching his 25th anniversary of being in business. He was in business, a restaurant in the town for quite a while in Berkeley, Illinois. And so I told him, well, why not have something that's 25% off for a certain period of time to try to tie in that kind of a thematic numbers hook. So what's happening in your next 1 to 2 to 3 months in your industry? So we're looking at October 1st, it's about 90 days from now. So plan ahead. I know there are some clients that I've helped that until I started to really talk in this way, they were always operating in crisis mode. They're always surprised when the 4th of July came up, but it happens the day after the 3rd of July every single year. It shouldn't surprise you. Mother's Day, Father's Day. In your field, maybe there's a national, awareness month of some kind, whether it's in the field of finances or cleaning or the environment, insurance, photography. I know Lee is also another person who's been stuck in this field for half a century or so we're sorry for that. But or so. See, as a journalist, you're always going to like, oh, you were around 9 years old, weren't you?
No, well, you're right.
Okay, all right, very good. See, get to remind people of their own stories sometimes. So what's on the horizon for you now? If you haven't written anything down, just doodle a little bit, humor me, but this is really more for you than for me. Okay, so I really encourage people to have pens on their paper. How much time do I have, by the way? 4 or 5 minutes left? Okay, thank you. So the last little category here is what do they say? What do your satisfied or overjoyed clients, customers, colleagues want to share about your excellent work? So identify 3 testimonial sources and some glowing words that they have or would be willing to say about you and your work. And believe it or not, some of the testimonials that I've gotten for myself, I've said this before, I actually helped a ghostwrite. It's a deep, dark secret. So Lee's words were original, Roz's were as well, but if there was a little tweaking to be done, they were open to it. And so start to write down your dream testimonial from someone. Maybe you don't have any specific person in mind, but it's a certain trait that you want to really accentuate. It is so much more effective when someone else is bragging about you than when you're bragging about yourself, right? So and the more variety you can offer as well. So you want to touch on maybe 3 different, and this is just one exercise, you can do 5 or 10 or 20 different angles on the type of quality you bring to your work and the type of people that you help. And so these are just some of the basic components that when you start to assemble this together, these are the pieces to a puzzle of what eventually can lead to writing your own bio, updating your bio, writing a news release, developing content for a blog, creating content for your website, a thought piece, which is kind of like an op-ed piece opposite the editorial page, where as a leader in your industry, you're talking about a certain topic. It's to pay attention to the world, what's going on around us. The untimely demise of Michael Jackson last week, as well as some other well-known people. Is there anything in any of those stories in those lives that you can touch on in some way? Michael Jackson, there's a whole slew of different possible angles, from nutrition to photography. How many times was this picture taken? There's just different angles on it. And you can do a critique, you can do an evaluation, you can talk about the reaction of the media itself, is something I could write about perhaps, dealing with celebrity and some of the things that happened over the years with that. So these are all just different ways to enter into your story. And so often we're tempted to just talk about, kind of a chronological timeline, where we've been and where we're going, and kind of walk through the front door to people, but there's side doors, there's coming in from above, below, so it's to really explore all those possibilities and to flesh it out. And what I always encourage people to do is, the path to get to the really good idea is the land of bad ideas, but you don't know it's a bad idea until you flesh it out fully. And sometimes the worst ideas can become the best if you tweak it just a little bit. At least that's what I console myself with when I have a lot of bad ideas. So, in about 2 minutes, maybe 90 seconds. Who here has written a lot? Who holds your paper high? I want to really see if you've got a lot of ink on your paper. I saw Alejandro, that's great. Whoa, excellent. All right. Roy, you showed me the back of your paper, but I trusted it. That was a good maneuver. Excellent. Now, at the very bottom, it says, how helpful was this exercise? I want you to circle it. And for those who are willing to hand it in to me, please do, because I really want to learn more about you. For those who, for whatever reason, you wrote something that was really personal, you don't have to do that. So, are there any questions, or is there a question if we only have time for one question?
We have time for multiple questions.
Oh, thank you very much. That means 2. Multiple means 2 or more. So, yes, Roz. Hi, Roz.
Who would be your dream client?
You, Roz. Roz's dream client. So many people in this room are.